going. Anyway, they were all trying to make us afraid. They're all trying to, just your faith. It's the faith that is getting them. It's all about faith. What are the conditions? I had a brother of mine send me a text this morning and saying, "What are the conditions? Are there conditions for entering into God's rest?" And I said, "Yep, one." And he says, "What is it, that we shouldn't harden our hearts?" No, the only condition is faith. Because hard heart means that you don't have faith. And it's all about faith, and the destruction, it starts off with that faith. God has given to each and every man a measure of faith. It's like a measure of seed. Faith is like God has given to each and every man. That's why all can be saved, is because the ability to believe in the gospel is right there. The ability is right there in each and every one of us to believe, because God has given us this gift of faith, a measure of faith. And if faith is like a seed, what do you, if you want to nurture, if you want to increase the size of your storehouse, what do? You plant it, you nurture it, you harvest it, and you keep the process going. And before you know it, a handful of seed turns into a bag of seed. A bag of seed turns into a warehouse of seed. And faith grows. But here is the enemies trying to bring fear. And God did not give us a spirit of fear. Fear didn't come from him. But your faith can be eroded if you allow that fear. And there's so many fear mongers that are out there all day long. Be afraid of this guy. Be afraid of them. How about they're coming from the top. They're coming from the bottom. They're coming from the south. Well, I'll tell you what. God is king in our life. And no matter what happens, he is king forever. For they were all trying to make us afraid, verse 9 says. Their hands will be weakened in the work. You begin to lose your focus when your faith begins to wane. And it happens to all of us. And then somewhere down the line, you got to catch yourself. You got to find, well, I've gotten off of the vision. I've allowed the focus the distraction to begin to pull me away. So you just come back into where you're supposed to be. Their hands will be weakened in the work, and it will not be done. Now, therefore, see, he knew what they were thinking. Now, therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. He prays out. Notice all these, even a little prayer, even just a few words, as he cries out to God. And he's always praying. He's been praying since the beginning of the book, since he found out what was going on. He goes to God in prayer. He gets there, he goes to God in prayer. Every time something comes against him, he goes to God in prayer. He knew where his strength came from. Now, therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. It's not a Nehemiah, such a strong guy. Nehemiah, no. The qualities that he has. The qualities that he is displaying, he knows it comes from God. And he gives God the credit. And he asks God for a little. Now, therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. They're weakening a little bit, but make them stronger than they were before. Afterward, verse 10, I came to the house of Shemaiah, the son of Delaiah, the son of Mehetabel, who was a secret informer. This is a Jewish guy, Shemaiah was one of the Hebrews. He was a secret informer. And he said, let us meet together in the house of God within the temple. Let us close the doors for the temple, for they're coming to kill you. Indeed, at night they will come to kill you. So this guy comes. I mean, he goes to visit Shemaiah. Doesn't tell us why or what the whole process is, but there's a little meeting going on. Maybe just came over just to have a cup of tea, and he says, "Hey man, these guys want to kill you. Let's go hide out in the temple." To begin with, were they of the were they Levites or priests? Because if I understand, those who would go into the temple, into the house of God, the Levites could go into the holy place, but only the high priest could go into the Holy of Holies? Or was it just the priest that come into the holy place and the high priest could only go into the Holy of Holies? I don't know. I don't know if Shemaiah is of the priesthood, and I don't think Nehemiah is. Maybe they are. But he says, let us meet together in the house of God. Nehemiah knew, though, that Shemaiah was a secret informer. He's that embedded spy. He's that one guy that's been in there and keeping the Geshams and his buddies informed of what's going on. But Nehemiah has a secret informer too. It's called the Holy Spirit. Remember Elijah, say, oh, yeah. Well, Elijah one time, this is the story I'm thinking of. Elijah one time, a foreign king was trying to kill him. No, a foreign king was coming against Israel. And every time the foreign king came against Israel, Israel knew what they were going to do. And the foreign king gets all of his leadership together and says, okay, which one of you guys is the secret informer? And they said, none of us. But it's that prophet Elijah. He knows what you're going to do. He even sees what's going on in your bedroom. And he says, okay, let's go get him. Let's go get Elijah. Well, when they went to go get him, Elijah was waiting for him when he got there. You have a secret informer on your side. You have one who will speak to you and say, are you sure? Discernment. Afterward, I came to the house of Shemaiah, who was a secret informer. He said, let us meet together in the house of God. Oh, I'm sure he put on his best face. I'm on your side, dude. I'm trying to protect you here. Let us meet together in the house of God within the temple. Let us close the doors of the temple, for they are coming to kill you. Indeed, at night they will come to kill you. I've just been giving them a little bit of information, but I'm really on your side. And I said, should such a man as I flee? And who is there such as I who would go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in. I think this is a good time for us to look at how some other translations might, view verse 11. Contemporary English said, why should someone like me have to run and hide in the temple to save my life? I won't go. English Standard Version says, should such a man as I run away? And what man such as I could go into the temple and live? He says, I will not go in. New Living Translation says, should someone in my position run from danger? As I read these other translations, I'm getting the feeling that he's saying, what kind of an example am I leaving if I run away? What's going to happen to the others that are under my leadership if they see me run, if they see me fear, if they see me hiding? Are they going to do the same thing? For this reason, he was hired. Oh, yeah. Well, we skipped verse 12. Let's go to verse 11 again. Should such a man as I flee? And who is there such as I who would not go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in. Then I perceived that God had not sent him at all, but he pronounced this prophecy against me because Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. Okie dokie. He was on the dole.